Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing my mid-year book freak out tag. I did this last year and had so much fun doing it, and I've been having so much fun watching all of my book friends doing it as well. So there are 15 questions, but let's just jump right in. First question is best book that you've read so far this year. This was really tough because I was looking at my 5-star reads and there were just so many good ones, but I kept telling myself, okay, but which one is the one that you haven't been able to stop thinking about, or like where there's been days since I read it where I think about one of the characters or whatever, you know? So for that one, I had to pick Explicitly Yours, the complete series by Jessica Hawkins. This book, I am still thinking about it every time. I can't help but love this book. The ending, again, like I said, if you watched my reading vlog, which I will link up in the cards for you guys to go watch after this video, the ending was not my favorite, but everything before that, oh, I ate it up. So this book is about Lola Winters and Beau Olivier. So in the first book, we basically find out that Lola is working at this bar that is basically her current boyfriend's like dream bar, dream job. He wants to own it one day, but the bar is not doing that well. And one day, Beau Olivier walks in. He actually sees Lola on the street. She's like arguing with these teenagers outside the bar. He's just immediately entranced by her. So he is actually going to this bar because he is gonna like chat it up with some potential investors. Not investors, but like they have a company and he might invest in it, I think. And that whole night, he just can't keep his eyes off of Lola, and they have this just instant like chemistry. You can feel the push and pull between them. But Lola, she doesn't do anything with it, and she doesn't outwardly acknowledge it because she is in a current relationship. So it's giving very much angst. There's a lot, like I said, of push and pull. And by the end of that night, Beau makes an offer to buy Lola for one night. And it goes from there. And this book, it is just so good. It is, if you want a angsty, fast, page-turning, can't put this book down, soulmate connection, bickering back and forth, deep conversations, but not feeling like it's too wordy, with beautiful, beautiful writing, and just, oh, you guys are gonna love this if you pick it up. It is so good. This is by far my favorite book of this year so far. Second question is best sequel I've read so far this year, and that's going to be, of course, Unfortunately Yours by Tessa Bailey. I instantly knew that this book was going to be for this question because this is the second book in Tessa Bailey's, I think it's like a Vine Mess or something series. But anyways, yeah, this is the second book. This is about our heroine Natalie Voss and our hero August Cates. So Natalie and August, they have kind of like a moment at this party in the first book, but by the end of the night, they are like throwing wine in each other's faces. I mean, Natalie throws wine in August's face and they just kind of end off on bad terms, but we don't know really what went down. But this is their romance in this book, and we start off with them having this very much hate to love relationship. They literally go back and forth, they argue a lot, and it's just arguing, but it's also like building the tension, and it is like so good. And like when you're in August's POV, you just see how much he's enamored and obsessed with Natalie, but they have this like animosity towards each other, so he doesn't really know how to handle it. And then we have Natalie, who is kind of more on the hate side to August because she feels like he's so mean to her and he like bullies her. It is so good. I love this book so much. So Natalie needs to get married and have a job so she can get her trust fund from her father. And August is really bad at making wine, and he's literally shutting down his vineyard because he sucks at making wine. He can't get a loan at the bank. So they come up with this marriage of convenience where they marry each other and they both get what they want, and then it causes forced proximity. They talk stuff out. They have to fake date, fake be married in love in the town, and you just see the relationship build. And the thing I think that I loved the most about this book is the communication. The smut in here was so good. The way that August is so in love with Natalie and how he will just never give up on her, and I love that in a man. I do. What can I say? It is so good. I loved it so much. I just had the best time reading this, and honestly, I can't wait till I reread it. Third question is new release you haven't read yet but want to. And for that one, y'all gonna be shook. I still have yet to read Reckless by Elsie Silver. I know. I have not read this. Loki, at this precise moment, I am just kind of scared to read it because I think I'm scared because I know that I'm gonna love it so much, but at the same time, it's just because I've also heard so many great things about this book, and so many people had been posting about it either on TikTok, Instagram. So hard to kind of avoid it and avoid quotes or avoid like scenes happening. So I kind of get the gist of this, and I also am kind of scared because I want to understand our heroine Winter's reasoning of why she didn't tell Theo. I mean, I bet everybody already knows about this, but about the baby, that's a really hard like thing for me to understand, just because I always feel like you should tell the father of the child. You know, you should always tell when you're pregnant to the father, you know what I mean? And I want to understand it, so I'm kind of like scared to get into it, but I will be reading this sometime soon. I will be vlogging it so you guys get to see all my thoughts and feelings about this book, but at the same time, like, I have a feeling that I am going to eat it up because it's Elsie Silver. And you know what? I still recall a lot of you saying that y'all like Theo more than Cade, and I want to see about that. You know what I mean? I want to see for myself, because can Theo really top Cade? I don't know, y'all. I don't know. So yeah, I still have yet to read that, and I need to get to it by the end of the year. I really do. Question 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. For this one, I have The Gods Only Know by Rory L. Scott. I am so excited to read this. This is gonna be I said marriage in trouble, but it's gonna be like a marriage of convenience, but like there's betrayal thrown in there, and there's like hurt and lies, and it's fantasy with like god elements, like with the gods. And I loved the first book, so I'm just so excited for the second book, and I just can't wait to get my hands on it. I know it's gonna be angsty, but it's also gonna be hot. Rory L. Scott does smell really well. I loved the world. I loved the ongoing plot. I just think that this couple in the second book just might top the first couple, because I love when there's like that angst when they kind of hurt each other, and I know that the hero is most hurt by the heroine, so I'm gonna eat it up. I am. So I'm super excited for that one. That is my most anticipated release for the second half of the year. There are obviously so many other ones that I'm dying to read, like The Salt Kiss by Sierra Simone, and so on and so forth, but that's the one that I chose for this question. Number 5, biggest disappointment. For this one, I wrote The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. It was just so disappointing. I DNF'd it. I can't remember what % of the book that I was in, but I was just really disappointed because I hated the book, and it was like a thriller. I don't even know what genre it was, but it wasn't romance. So for it to be like not a romance, and for me to go into it kind of excited for it, and then for it to be like so bad, like I hated it, so it was really disappointing. Then I also have Balance by Lucia Franco. This one, I was disappointed because I wanted to love it so much, and it's so sad and disappointing because I didn't. And the thing is that it was so disappointing because literally like 80% of the book I loved. Like I was eating it up while I was reading it, and I do believe I have a vlog of me reading this first book, and you can tell like in the beginning I was eating it up. I was like, okay, it's a little sus, but I'm eating it up, you know? And then towards the end, with the whole thing that goes down at the end, I was just like, absolutely not. Will I give it another chance? Maybe, but I was still disappointed, which is sad. And then last one on here, I have The Devil of London by Amelia Hutchinson. This one was really disappointing because I low-key like really liked the premise. I saw the potential, but like I was just so confused. Like I didn't know where it was going, but I could see what the author wanted to do. It was so like choppy, like events would happen, but you wouldn't even know how they connect or how they even correlate, or whether it was in the past or if it was in the present or if it was the future. Like what was even going on? Like I was just so confused. But that to say, I did like the heroine and I did like the hero. The hero, Listen, when you think of a morally gray, psycho, bully hero, that was our hero in this book. And like, I low-key loved him because I knew why he was doing the things that he was doing, but he couldn't say. And there was like these other characters as well that I was liking, but nothing ever connected. Nothing ever made sense. So that was very disappointing for me. So those are the top 3 disappointing reads of this year for me so far. Question number 6, biggest surprise. I have 2 for this one. So for the first one, I have The Darkest Sunrise duet by Ali Martinez. This was such a surprise for me because I didn't know what I was going into, but I knew that it was Ali Martinez and I had read Ali Martinez before, but most of her books had been like 3.5, 4 stars for me. None have ever hit a 5-star for me. So I knew I was gonna go into this and it was gonna be emotional. I just didn't know what it was gonna be. And I ended up picking up the audio for this. And I think because I didn't know what this was about and because I listened to it, it made my experience with this duet through the roof. I gave both books 5 stars. It had me in a chokehold. I was listening to this and I was just like so into it and I was just like gasping, you know, and stuff. And like the plot twist, I knew, but the way that Ali throws you off, because she threw me off. I was like, okay, so scratch my theory because it doesn't make sense because A, B, and C happened and all this stuff, right? But it's just so mind-blowing to me. But this was just so emotionally impactful. It was heartbreaking. The romance was just everything that I wanted. I felt their connection. I knew that they were gonna be soulmates, the way that they connect, the banter, the conversations, the way he lifts her up and she lifts him up, and how they just see each other. They see their darkness and yet they are the light for each other. It was just absolutely beautiful, and it was just such a big surprise because I wasn't thinking that this was gonna be a 5-star for me. I was just thinking like, oh, you know, another Ali Martinez book, let's see what it's about. And the audio narration is done so well. I really loved it and it kept me entertained. Once I finished book 1, I picked up book 2 immediately. So, and I also will say that after the first book ends, the second book is so well done because I was kind of scared of where it was gonna go from here with plot wise, relationship wise, and like outside factors, but she just did it so nicely and she wrapped it up so well. And I loved the way that the heroine navigated things, and I loved how the hero as well navigated things. So it was just overall such a great duet and I loved it so much. I had to get the cover to cover book box edition. This is basically the bind up of both books. I don't love the OG cover, so I had to see if I could find this cover because I wanted to own it physically, but I didn't really love the OG covers, but that's just me. I still think that you guys should read it. Both books are on KU, but you could also listen to it on AnyPlay, which is where I listen to it. Then for the second one, I have Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This was actually another 5-star read for me and I was shook, okay? So listen, I also listened to this on audio, which I think kind of elevated my experience. Honestly, I had been iffy about Abby Jimenez for a long time. I have a book on haul video where I unhaul most of the books that I owned from her, and now I'm like slowly buying them again because I read this and I was just so surprised by her writing. I was so surprised by the way that the book made me feel. And people say that Abby Jimenez isn't a spicy author, which I will say she's not like the spiciest author. Like there ain't no hella description, but there is a little sprinkle of spice in here, which I really appreciated. And I think that it did push me through the story and it made me enjoy the story even more. Even if it didn't have any spice, I think I would have still loved it. Did I tell you guys what The Darkest Sunrise was about? No, but you know what? That's fine because if I want y'all to go into that one blind. This is the, what company is this? I think this is the Steamy Lit edition cover for Part of Your World. I had actually bought this before I even read the book because I literally felt FOMO and I just loved this cover. I mean, I love both covers now that I've read the book. But this is about me forgetting their names. I suck at names. Y'all can't hold that over me. We have our heroine Alexis and we have our hero Daniel. So Alexis comes from a very prestigious family of doctors, and then we have Daniel, who is a carpenter. He works in this small town. He runs this B&B, bed and breakfast, I believe. And Alexis's car actually breaks down while she's passing through this town, and Daniel ends up helping her, and then they see each other again at this bar. They kind of just chat it up and they like connect, and then they have this one steamy night together. So it is one night stand trope, and then she goes back to her part of the world and Daniel stays in his part of the world. And this is definitely opposites attract. The main conflict is that they have completely different lives. Like, how could they possibly connect? And I think that Abby Jimenez did such an amazing job of kind of putting it all together. It is just so beautifully done. Like, I loved this book so much when I was reading it. The audio is amazing. I think that if you have the option to listen to it on audio, it's really good. But overall, I just was so surprised when I read this that I was shook that I gave it 5 stars, to be honest. I was not expecting it. I loved the conversations in here. I loved how Alexis stood up for Daniel. I loved how obsessed Daniel was with Alexis. She was it for him, you know what I mean? And I love the animals. I love the side characters. I loved the plot. I think it was just so well done. I honestly really truly loved it. Enough about that one. I feel like this video about to be long as hell. Question number 7, favorite new author, debut or new to me? I would say Nisha Sharma. I ended up reading Dating Dr. Dill by Nisha Sharma this year, and this was also another 5-star read for me. She is slowly becoming a favorite author of mine because I loved this book. She made me laugh. The spicy scenes were amazing. I loved the plot. Her writing was just so easy and fun to read. I'm so excited for book 2. I don't think I'll ever stop reading anything that she releases. I think she's gonna be one of the top authors that I like. This is about Karina and Dr. Prem Verma. So they definitely start off with a hate to love relationship, but they do meet at this restaurant that our hero's best friend owns. They kind of have this amazing night together. They have amazing conversation, and their chemistry, sexual tension is just off the charts. Dr. Prem kind of ruins it, and then they kind of don't see each other, I think, until the next day when our heroine Karina is invited to go with her sister to this show because her sister is an influencer and like she's gonna be part of the show. The host of this show is our hero, Dr. Prem Verma, and this is how they kind of reconnect, and now they have to do like marriage of convenience, but like they never kind of get married for the convenience. It's mostly our hero trying to convince our heroine to give him a shot, and they kind of just fall in love in the process. And I thought it was very well done. It was so funny. I loved the aunties. I loved the found family. I loved seeing the heroine struggle. I loved her holding her ground and her having standards and sticking to them no matter how difficult it would be for her to find true love. And I also loved our hero because he was very much an actions kind of guy. Towards the end, I just kind of fell in love with it, and I really enjoyed it. I definitely think that you should read it. It was really good. So this is first new author to me, Nisha Sharma. I love her so much. And of course, I have to talk about Rory L. Scott. She is a debut author. She came out for The Love of the Gods. That is the first book in her series, and I just, like I said, I gave it 5 stars. I loved it so much. I loved the magic. I loved the plot. I loved the romance overall, and she did such a great job for it being her first book, and I'm excited to see more from her. Basically, we have our hero Dominic and our heroine Rose. It's giving very much enemies to lovers. There's like an underlying plot where the hero is trying to do something to the heroine, and the heroine is just kind of living day by day. Nobody really knows her secrets. Nobody really knows her. Nobody wants to get to know her. They kind of just make assumptions about her. It is their relationship, and it starts off very rocky, but it's forced proximity as well, marriage of convenience, and it is just so good. I loved it so much. I loved it so much. Question 8, newest fictional crush. For this one, I had to talk about, it's definitely gonna be Beau Olivier from Explicitly Yours series. How could it not be this man? Like, how could it not be this man? Everything he says, everything he does, the mouth on this man, I don't care what the fuck he's saying, but I'd like to hear it. And then, of course, I couldn't choose between both of them. August Cates is my second one, newest fictional crush. This is my man. Yeah, I know he's stick beside me with my attitude and all my problems. He's stick beside me, you know? And then number 9, newest favorite character. For that one, I actually have a few, and they're all girls because these girls in these books, again, Lola from this book, oh, I love her. I love her so much. I loved the way her mind works, and I loved her little revenge plot. I loved that she was wasn't the type of heroine to like back down and like go groveling back to the hero when he fucks up. She was just such a badass. I loved it, especially such a badass in the contemporary field. And then I have Sarah from Scarred. I read this early this year and I absolutely loved it. I give 5 stars. The slow burn in this one, oh, I ate it up. But Sarah is a favorite character of mine. I just think that she was obviously giving off a different personality, but underneath she was like a badass assassin. Like she was trained to kill, and she is just so good. I love her, and I have loved her from the beginning. Then I have Jude from The Cruel Prince. I love her too, just because she's also a badass. All of these women, they're badasses. I love them. Like girl power for sure. And this was a fantasy series that I read this year, and Jude is definitely one of my new favorite characters. This is more fantasy than it is romance, just so you know, but the romance is still there. It's just very low on the romance, but I loved it regardless. And I also loved the plot, the whole fantasy aspect of it. And Jude is just, she never gives up, and she's just, again, such a badass. And then lastly, newest favorite character is Bennett from Sea of Ruin. Bennett, she goes through a lot, okay? From the beginning, she goes through a lot, but she is just such a tough heroine, a badass. Again, I know, take a shot every time I say a badass, but she really is, and she just never gives up. She's so tough. She literally, nothing gets her down. She's smart and just a woman, you know, and I love her so much. Bennett is definitely a new favorite character for me. Question number 10, book that made you cry. For this one, I don't have a book that made me cry so far this year. So leave me down below the last book that made you cry, because I would love to know. Then I have question number 11, a book that made you happy. For this one, I have The Guy for Me by Marzi Opal. So this one's a new one for me. I love the cover. This is actually a novella. It is less, I believe, than 200 pages, or a little bit more than 200 pages. I don't know, but it's not anything more than 300 pages. So we have our heroine and our hero, which I can't remember their names, but it was so good. I honestly had seen this, I can't remember from who, I'm so sorry. There's so many books on my bookstagram timeline and people's stories, but I had seen somebody talk about it. She had like put a screenshot of her underlining a certain section. Basically it was a section where our hero always pays for our heroine's nails. And I was just like, period. So I screenshotted it. I looked it up on Amazon. It was on KU, and it was a novella length book, and I decided to pick it up. And this book made me so happy just because of the way that the hero worships our heroine. And I also loved both the characters individually as well as I liked them together. I think they were obviously soulmates. They were meant to be. I thought that it was just so fun and cute, but it was also very steamy. Do have plus size hero and plus size heroine. The heroine is super confident, and our hero is more on the insecure side. He's also a virgin hero, which I ate up, and he is just grovel king. He grovels through text. He says the sweetest things, and they basically form this relationship because in high school, one of their classes, the teachers recommend and have the whole class do like an epistolary, I think that's what it's called, thing with another school, and that's how they connect, and they just never stopped writing letters to each other, which then evolved into text messages. I feel like they've always loved each other. The hero is too insecure to actually meet our heroine, and he kind of always stands her up until they finally, you know, meet. I think it's super cute how they meet. I think that I just low-key loved all the grovel, and then I loved all the steam, and then I loved the way that the heroine uplifts our hero, and there's a little bit of praise king on both sides in this one, and it was just so good. I think you guys should definitely read it. I gave it 5 stars. That's how much I loved it. Like, there was honestly nothing wrong with it. I will say it was a little cheesy sometimes, but I think that it's just exactly what I needed at the time that I picked it up. So I absolutely loved it, and I think you guys should check it out. Then for question 12, most beautiful book you have acquired this year. So for this one, I have a lot of books, which I will not go into any synopsis for these. I think I'm just gonna show them off because why not? And most of these, I've read most of them, and then a few that I haven't read. So I'll start off with these. These are my Fairy Loot editions of the Crescent City books by Sarah J. Maas. So it comes in this box that has gorgeous foiling all around, and then the book comes out, and it's just it is so good. I have yet to read both of these books, but here's the spine, this is the cover, and then here we have the back, and then we have the amazing, stunning sprayed edges, and just the inside there's more like artwork. I haven't really like gone through it because I don't want to spoil anything for myself. Yeah, they're just absolutely beautiful. Like, I'm so glad that I have them because they're just stunning. I will show you guys the second book here. This is the front, the side, the back, and then the spine, the front cover. This is the back. This is the gorgeous sprayed edges, and then we have even more artwork inside. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna flip through because I don't want to spoil nothing for myself. But these are definitely one of the most beautiful books that I have gotten this year. And then let's go through these. So I also have The Architect by Nikki Sloan. This is the last chapter book box times baby gal read it, Tanya from bookstagram. They did a box collab, and this is by far my favorite one that she did. It is just absolutely stunning. It is one of my favorite books that I have gotten this year. The red spine, I eat it up. The cover in general, and then the back, it is so good. I believe this is my favorite in the series so far. So when I saw that she was gonna do this book, I was like, period, I'm so here for it. And just everything about it is absolutely stunning with the black and the red. It just pops. It's so beautiful. And then I will talk about these. This is my Mystic Box editions of the Cat and Mouse duets. Listen, Mystic Box, they never miss. So this is Haunting Adeline. The silver foiling is so beautiful. The skull with the roses is so beautiful. The back with the house and then the little quote, stunning. The sprayed edges, stunning as well. You guys know I love this duet. Now that we have Hunting Adeline with another skull in the front, which I love, with the silver foiling, the spine, and then the train in the back with the quotes, and then the roses on the sprayed edges as well. Oh, so beautiful. Then I have this entire series. I have the Stay a Spell series by Juliet Cross. She came out with these special edition hardcover ones for this Stay a Spell series. I was able to get my hands on them because it was for a pre-order for a Polycon, which hallelujah, because I did not know how the fuck her Kickstarter worked where everybody else could get it. But I will go through these quickly. We have Wolf Gone Wild. Like, it's just not even a discreet cover because the OG covers are stunning. I love them so much, but these are just so beautiful, and they all have something to do with the actual story. This is Don't Hex and Drive. This is the vampire one, as you can see from the teeth, and then it has the mirror because of a mirror scene. If you know, you know. With Wolf Gone Wild, it has the moon because it has the it's a werewolf romance. Then we have Witches Get Stitches, a werewolf romance as well, as you can see here at the top. Hopefully you can see. As well as the tarot card because the heroine Violet in this book, I think, is a seer. And then I love covers that like have little things about him for the characters. And we have Always Practice Safe Hex. This one, it is a grim romance. That's why there's like the skull at the top. And then we have Resting Witch Face, which has Julian's eye. Julian? Why did I say Julian? Oh, I combined both their names because this was with Jules and Ruben. I didn't even combine their names. Anyways, this is a vampire one, so it has the eye, and then this is Second Chance Romance, and it has the cauldron. I have yet to read this one, but I've read all the other ones. And then we have Grimm and Barrett. This is the last one. It is about a Grimm, and then it is the last Savoy sister, Clara. She's very pink and bubbly, and she's like an aura, like she can tell people's auras and help like lift people up and stuff. And so that's why it has like the pink and the butterflies. It's so cute. I can't wait to get to it. And then lastly, oh, these are beautiful. I have the Salacious Players Club hardback editions. I loved this series, so I definitely had to get these hardcovers. When I talk about alternative covers, this is what I'm talking about. They ate. The spines with the silver foiling and it's like raised. It is absolutely stunning, as well as the cover with the cufflinks. It just makes sense with praise. And then again with the raised silver foiling, like you can't beat this. Like, it is so good. And then we have Eyes on Me with the ice. There's an ice scene in here, so it plays a part, like you understand it once you read it. It makes so much sense. Again, with the silver foiling, I think the silver foiling really gets me. They have it on the back as well in the description, and I like the images and like the dark aura of them. They just kind of look just so cool. I just love them. I think they did such a great job, and I love that they used things from the book for the covers. And then we have Give Me More, my favorite in the series, has the 3 rings because it is an MMF, and then the silver foiling, again, just stunning, stunning, stunning. And then lastly we have Mercy, this one silver foiling, and then it has the whip and collars. This is like a reverse dom sub. The hero is the sub and the heroine is the dom. Yeah, so that is the last series of like beautiful covers that I've gotten this year. So moving on to question number 14, what books do you need to read before the end of the year? Honestly, I didn't answer this one, and I was going to, but then like I started pulling books from my library to show you guys that I want to read it before the end of the year. But at that point, I would have just taken all my books down. So many books on my physical TBR, on my Kindle Unlimited TBR, on all my like Libby Anyplay TBRs. Like there's so many books that I want to get to that it's literally like every book that is on those lists that I know about, that I've seen, that I want to read is like literally the answer to this question. So it was kind of difficult. I will say I want to finish the series that I have already started. Example for the Stay a Spell series, I do want to get to Throne of Glass, and yeah, and there's just so many other books that I want to read. Mostly want to finish my series, and if I start new books and read new books, I want to make sure that I finish those series as well. And with that being said, with Throne of Glass, I want to also get to these before the end of the year because the 3rd book comes out January. So there's just too many. There's just too many, you guys. Last question for this tag is favorite creators at the moment, and I have quite a few here. Have Chandler Ansley. I love her because of her reading vlogs. Then I have Locke's Library. I have been loving this channel so much. I think it's just her overall vibe. She is fun to watch. I love that her because she has like longer videos, and like I love longer videos. I like reading vlogs because that's usually what I watch throughout my day, and it's just so entertaining. I love seeing her annotation tips. She does videos like that. Vlogs in general. She just posted a book unhaul, which was so fun to watch. I just love seeing her sniff books, like period. You know what I mean? Like it's just her thing, and I think it just makes her so kind of relatable, and I just love her content. Then I have Raven Haired Reader. She's a channel that I've recently subscribed to. I've watched a couple of her videos, but I subscribed because she does mostly reading vlogs, which are my favorite form of content to consume. And she came highly recommended from Tori Between the Pages, which is Tori. She's also one of my favorite creators at the moment. I really love her journaling content. She does the weekly vlogs, and then she does other bookish content. I think she's just so creative. She's so fun. I love seeing her reactions to books and stuff. She's just so genuine and so nice, and she brings a smile to my face every time I see that she's uploaded a video. And she's also super consistent with her videos, so props to that. And yeah, those were all the questions for this tag, and those were all the creators that I'm recently loving. Go ahead and comment down below the last book that made you cry. Like I said earlier, if you want to comment any of that, then go ahead and leave me a butterfly emoji down below in the comments. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.